All right, ladies and gents, before we do anything, I just want to say a big thank you. Hopefully I'm looking a little bit clearer on that screen. Hopefully I'm coming through a bit clearer on audio. Thanks to all the merch that you guys have bought and supported the channel. I had a super thanks the other day. I didn't even know it was a thing. I've used everything we've earned so far and I've got a better camera sorted out. I've got a better mic sorted out. So hopefully we're sounding a bit better today. And today we're going to be looking at my Import 100 series LandCruiser. So the reason we bought this, as we've discussed previously, is it's got the FTE engine, which is one of my favorites. It's got a beautiful cab, which we're going to swap on top of a 105 chassis. We went through that briefly in the video last week, so if you haven't seen it, go back and have a look. But today we're going to do a detailed walk around. I'm going to show you everything about this car, the good, the bad, not that there really is much, and just have a look inside, see if there's anything unique to the Japanese ones. There's one thing I've picked up on that's definitely not in the Australian models. So we'll get stuck in. So one of the first things that got my attention that I thought was quite striking is this front end. There's actually a few things here that are different to the Australian ones. I suppose the most glaringly obvious one is this. So the bumper is very similar to the Australian ones, but this extension on the bottom, it was a factory Toyota option. I won't be keeping it, but it's obviously very unique. We've got headlight washers, which again, I think maybe a Sahara 100 series might have got these, or a Kakadu or something. I'll probably try and integrate that into the bull bar. Just could be a cool thing to retain if we can. I think the grille is a slightly different style to what you'd get in a 100 series as well. And these headlights, we're back to an early model front end, which I think I'm going to stick with this time. I don't think the late model headlight upgrade was worth it for the time and effort, and it never really fit back together perfectly. But these are glass, which I love. I don't want to go back to plastic. The plastic ones I bought off eBay are no good. One's already yellowed, so I'd stay away from that if that's what you're thinking about going. And obviously the last thing is we've got the little mirror here, which they usually use for parking. I think it could come in handy off-road, and I kind of like it. It makes it unique. So I'll be keeping that as well. And for the front end, that's pretty much it. So we'll move over to the sides. So moving down the side of the car, probably the most striking thing for me and one of my favorite bits is the pearl paint. It's white, but it's got a really beautiful color to it. It's like a nice sparkle through it all. The paint's all in really good condition. I don't have any fade or peeling or anything at the moment, so I'm very happy with that. We've got these side steps. Again, they won't be staying. I don't think they're very practical for going off-road. They're plastic. They are very solid, but it's just not my style. I'd much prefer to have rock sliders. And one of the other big differences is you can see these molds here that bolt onto the door and the guard. It's not something we got on local ones. I kind of like it. I think I'm going to keep those. They're great protection. I might wrap them in like a PPF or something. And I just think they look great. It sort of chunks up the car a little bit. And I think these look good with a little bit of extra volume. Color-coded mirrors also in the pearl. We've got windshields, which aren't really anything special. And they have roof rails that are also color-coded. And again, I think the top spec 100s came with those. I don't think any 105s came with them. I haven't decided whether I'll keep them yet or not. I think they could be a good base for setting up a really low platform rack and keeping the height down, so that might stay. And little things, the clear indicators, but very different to a 105. Okay, so I've just moved the background into the sun just so we can really do it justice. This is another part of the car that I think is quite unique, and it's something that really drew me into this particular one. I haven't figured out yet whether these are factory taillights or not. It's funny because before I bought this, I knew that this car existed. I bought aftermarket taillights for my 105. I'll pop a picture up here, and I went for the exact same style. I think they look really nice. They're similar to the Lexus ones on the LX 470s, but I think they pop really nice against the white. Other notable things here is the bumper's been color-coded, which I know came on a lot of LandCruisers, 105 and local 100. And this spoiler, I really love this. My four-wheel drives have always had a bit of a JDM theme because I just love the way they look. And that is something that I don't believe came on any Australian model, so that keeps it extremely unique. And we've got the twin cannons. So I'd love to somehow integrate these into the FTE 105 build. I think I'll try and find a way to keep at least one. It sounds great, so we'll get this turned on and we'll have a bit of a listen to the exhaust. Yeah, we'll keep my ugly mug out of this bit. So now we're going to do the engine bay, and then we'll move into the interior. So this is where I found something that I haven't seen in an Australian one. And to be honest, I probably won't be keeping it, I'll be getting rid of it. This is our engine bay here. It all seems to run really smoothly, it's super responsive. So we'll turn that off and have a look a bit closer. Okay, so this is the 1HD FTE. Most of it looks identical to an Aussie one. We've got dual batteries. It's not 24 volt or anything like that, which is great. So we shouldn't have any issues with the wiring. But we do have this guy here. Now I've done a little bit of research, and apparently it's a heat pump. And what it's for is if you live in a really cold country or climate on a snowy morning or something, you can turn on the power pump heater, and it uses friction to heat up the coolant and warm the car up quicker, and so it can maintain warm temperatures on cold days. Now I don't think that's going to be particularly useful in Australia, not where I live anyway. So we'll delete that. But again, this, the gearbox attached to it, the transfer case behind it, will all come out of this and onto the body of the other one over there. This body has mounting, oh, it's probably easier under the other one, but there's mounting points there. I don't know if you can see that. We unbolt it, lift it off, and it will sit on top of the 105 chassis. So now I might grab the other camera and we'll have a quick look at the interior. Okay, now we move into the interior. So off the bat you can see the quality of the door cards is just a little bit nicer. We've got some fake wood grain, which is very 90s. It came with a turbo timer that doesn't seem to work. It's just sort of hanging there, so I might have to have a look and see if I can play with the settings on that. Before we hop in, the seats are a much softer material than what we get in the 105s, but I'm sure 100 series came in a similar spec. We've got a leather wrapped wheel. The brown interior is actually growing on me. When I first saw it I wasn't really a fan, but this just instantly feels like a much nicer place to be inside here. We've got a tape deck and an old Japanese nav system. That's useless here, so I think I've found a solution. What I'm going to do is there's a fascia that replaces all of this, and it all goes to touchscreen. It integrates air conditioning controls and everything, so if someone has a better idea, I'm all ears, but I think that's the way I'm going to go, and it just sort of modernizes it a bit. Okay, so moving down to the center here, I'll just close this door. We've got, it's got height adjustable suspension. That's not something that's going to stay, obviously, but it still works. It's like a bit of a fun gimmick. It's got heated seats, which my fiance is extremely happy about. Again, it's the same shape interior as the 105. So same year model. We shouldn't have too many compatibility issues. It's nice and neat in the back. It's got factory Toyota floor mats, which are pretty cool. LandCruiser floor mats that match. Sunglasses holder, which I don't think the other one has, and a sunroof that works. So the interior is actually a substantially nicer place to be compared to the 105s. The cup holders work. We've got a bit of a different center console here. That's just been set up to take phone calls, so I'll probably rip that out and we'll figure out another use for that. And this is a cooler box, and that actually works really well. I gave that a go when I first picked it up. Keeps your drinks nice and cold. Just runs through the aircon system from what I understand. So I'll be doing my best to make sure that that all carries into the swap. But yeah, for the interior, that's pretty much it. I might grab the keys and we'll start it up and you can have a listen to it. We'll just let it glow. And another thing worth noting is they have a different dash. I really like these. It's like they're backlit. So that obviously all stays because we're keeping the factory lume and everything for this swap. So you can see there the aircon controls are currently in there. So we do need something that at least will integrate that and is smart. Got cruise control, which my current one doesn't have. It's got automatic headlights, which is a nice touch. The power heater. The power heater you can see just in that gap there, we're going to delete. It's got power mirrors, it's got fold-in mirrors, it's got the headlight washers, and it's got a rear heater, which was an option apparently. It even managed to get the flare over here somehow, so that's a cool little Japanese touch. So yeah, that's the interior. Thanks so much for watching to the end of the video, guys. The next episode, as you can see here, we're going to start pulling apart the 105 and work towards getting the cab off. I'm going to skip all the boring stuff where it's just stripping out seats, interior pieces, and all the stuff I'm selling off it, because you wouldn't have to do that in a typical swap. And we'll get straight to the meat and bones of it, where we start disconnecting everything, hopefully get the cab off, and we can start looking at the chassis and any sort of prep work I'm going to do before we pull the 100 apart. Make sure you give the video a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want to support me, grab some merch. It's all just going back into making the channel better. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you all very soon.